The story of Serena Williams begins in an unlikely place, Compton, California. Then, as now, Compton was poor, and many residents of the mostly African American and Hispanic inner-city community struggled to make ends meet. The buildings were run down. Crime and poverty were rampant. Gang members sold drugs and engaged in other illegal activities in public places, including the parks where Richard took the girls to play tennis. Sometimes the gang members told Richard that he and his girls weren't welcome. Williams refused to be intimidated. He stood up for his right to use the courts. Eventually, the locals left them in peace. But the parks were still dangerous places to be. One afternoon, when Serena was about 7, she was with her father and Venus at East Compton Park, now East Rancho Dominguez Park. Midway through practice, a carload of young men cruised by the courts. One of the men stuck a gun out the window and started shooting. At first, I just thought someone was setting off firecrackers or popping some balloons, Serena said years later. Venus, Serena, and Richard hit the ground as bullets flew all around them. Gang members hanging out in the park ran and hid. Seconds later, the firing stopped, and the car sped away. Serena and Venus were shaken up by the drive-by shooting, but Richard calmed them down. Keeping a watchful eye out, he convinced them to resume practice. There was no place in the world that was rougher than Compton, Richard once commented. The ghetto will make you rough, it'll make you tough, it'll make you strong. Richard wanted his girls to grow up strong. He also wanted them to have a future beyond Compton. Their future was all he and Oracene were thinking about when they decided to teach their daughters to play tennis. And not just play. The goal was for them to become world-class professional players. According to Williams family lore, Richard came up with that goal long before Serena was born. He was a recreational tennis player himself, and he taught Oracene to play. When he heard that a professional player named Virginia Ruzici had earned more than $30,000 for winning a major tennis event, he decided that was what his children should do. He told Oracene his idea to develop the girls into professional players. She agreed it was worth pursuing. Inspired and determined, Richard drew up a 78-page plan for achieving their goal. If that plan was successful, their girls would never experience want. Richard knew all about want. He'd grown up in Shreveport, Louisiana, in the 1940s, amid abject poverty and racism. His father abandoned the family when Richard was young, leaving his mother, Julia May, to raise 6 children on her own. Richard did whatever he could to help his mother and sisters survive. He hunted and fished for food. He set up a farm stand and grew fruits and vegetables to sell. Sometimes, if he didn't have enough produce to stock the stand, he stole what he needed from other people's gardens. When he was older, Richard left Louisiana to make his way in the world. He met Oracene in Michigan in 1979. She and Richard married soon afterward. A widow, Oracene was raising 7-year-old Yatunde, 6-year-old Isha, and 1-year-old Lindria on her own. Oracene gave birth to Venus Ebony Star Williams on June 17, 1980, and Serena Jamaica Williams on September 26, 1981. The family of 7 settled in Compton, where Oracene worked as a nurse and Richard ran a small security company. In his spare time, Richard learned everything he could about tennis. He read books about the game, he watched matches on television, and studied videos about the sport. He played with and against more experienced players, honing his skills and fine-tuning his techniques. Most important, he played tennis with his daughters. At first, it was just the 3 oldest, Yatunde, Isha, and Lindria. Life was get up, 6 o'clock in the morning, go to the tennis court before school, Isha once told a reporter. After school, go to tennis. They were good players. In fact, some say Isha might have turned professional if not for back problems. But right from the start, Venus and Serena brought something special to the court. Maybe it was because they'd started playing when they were very young. Or maybe they just had a natural athletic ability perfectly suited for tennis. Whatever the case, Richard believed that some